The Film Basement is filmed in sunny West Hartford, Connecticut, in front of a live studio audience.
Welcome to the Filmmakers Basement, where the popcorn is stale and the takes are old. I'm Brandon Gasparino.
And I'm Andrew Poulin.
And we're going to be covering all the best and weirdest news in film news this week after an extremely long hiatus, which I'm not going to talk about. Definitely didn't have anything to do with Eddie. Don't know him. He's not on the show anymore. We've got a new host, Andrew. This week, I'm actually going to be reviewing a new movie that came out last week, The Green Knight. So The Green Knight focuses on King Arthur's headstrong nephew, Sir Gawain, as he embarks on a daring quest to confront the Green Knight, a mysterious giant who appears at Camelot. Risking his head, literally, he sets off on an epic and kind of confusing adventure to prove himself before his family and his court. When I went to see this movie initially, what really drew me into it was the trailer for it. I thought it looked really pretty. I thought it had a neat little story that went along with it. It's like, oh, cool. This is like a Camelot story. I like that. That's neat. And it definitely provided on those fronts. It's really well shot. I was kind of astonished at how nice it looked. The costume design is absolutely immaculate, especially the Green Knight himself. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the movie.
Oh, I don't know. I was going to ask you what kind of movie is it? Because I've never seen a trailer. I didn't even know it was a movie. So
that's a great question.
Is it like
it's kind of like a thinky movie, if that makes sense. I want to say it's like an adventure movie without the action. It's not an action adventure. It's like just the adventure part of it. You're kind of following Sir Gawain as he goes around completing these various quests that kind of test like his honor and his nobility in this like in King Arthur's court.
So I have seen this trailer, and I like the name of it didn't like it didn't click into my head because I don't think I saw the actual title card of the movie. But it has Dev Patel in it for anyone who doesn't know who that is. It's the main guy from Slumdog Millionaire. I can't remember the name that he had when he was in that movie, but
and he is Sir Gawain in the lead role, and he's fantastic. Like legitimately, he's very good. But that comes with the caveat that he's very good at like getting beat up. Because Sir Gawain in this movie, he's not like the classic like knight in shining armor. He's like a knight in very dull armor, if that makes sense. He often doesn't really like, he gets into all these various encounters. Like a good one, for example, is right at the start of his quest, he encounters this young man who's been saying like, as he's walking through this big battlefield, like that just had gone through. This kid's coming up to him and he's saying like, my family died here. Like, I just want if you could just throw me some money, like I need a little bit of help, that would be great. And Sir Gawain's like, I mean, I don't know about that. Like, I can't really help you. I got this big quest going on right now. And the kid's like, oh, well, I can show you how to get there. I know the route. And Dave Patel's like, yeah, sure. Why not? Why don't you show me that? I'll throw you some coin for this, whatever. Turns out the kid's a mugger and he mugs him on the side of the road with like two other people. And it's not, again, it's not like he fights these people and he wins. He gets tied up, thrown against a tree and like knocked out, all stuff stolen. It's not like he's not supposed to fight these people and win. Like there's some like lesson about honor in all of this, which again kind of leads back to like my main problem with the movie is the assumptions that it makes that you know this story and you know what like it's all about, this like quest for honor. And it might lead. I'm going to give one example without spoilers and another example with spoilers. At the beginning of the movie, like they don't explain who anyone is. Like I had absolutely no idea I was following Sir Gawain until they said his name. Like even when you're in King Arthur's court, they don't tell you who anyone is. And the best example of that is Sir Gawain's mom. I had no idea who this character was going into it. I thought I couldn't figure out her motivations as a result. Because at the start of the movie, you're like, oh, it's Sir Gawain's mom. That's really cool. She's also a witch. Okay, that's also really cool. She cursed her son. What? Why did she curse her son? Why is any of this happening? Oh, so she cursed her son to fight this guy. And if he doesn't fight this guy, he will die. Like what's going on?
Yeah, it sounds, I don't know, because the director, David Lowery, he also did Pete's Dragon.
Dragon. I heard about that, but I never saw
the live action Pete's Dragon too, not the cartoon. But so like it sounds, from what you're saying, it sounds comedy-esque, but it doesn't, like, when I'm looking at like the synopsis
though.
storyline and like the ratings on it, I'm just like, no,
it's not a comedy.
It's got like nudity in it. Like, I mean, comedies have nudity, but it's it's violence and graphic nudity and all that stuff.
It's like a lot of thinking. It's just like, why is he in this situation? How is this testing his honor to prove that he's a really good man?
And it's funny you say you don't have any knowledge of like who people are, because the tagline for this movie is a fantasy retelling of the medieval story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. It's like, I didn't know there was a story that was already told about these people. Like,
that's what it's based on. And the director assumes this entire story going into this. And as somebody who didn't, I was very confused.
Yeah.
Specifically with the ending, which is where I'll say spoilers for the movie. At the end of the movie, the guy is essentially, so the idea is this guy, it's called the Green Knight, shows up. Sir Gawain, he essentially challenges anyone in King Arthur's court. Deal me your toughest blow, but in a year I will deal that blow back to you as like a test of honor. Like, I want you to strike me down as hard as you can, but in a year from now, I'm going to deal that blow back to you and you're going to have to take it. Sir Gawain does this by chopping his head off. A year later, he has to go on this long quest, deal with all these people to go before the Green Knight. Now in the movie, when he approaches the Green Knight, you get this cool like sequence that plays out where like you see a possible future if he doesn't go through with this and get his head chopped off, and it ends really poorly for him. So Sir Gawain is like, fine, sure, I'll go through with this and get my head chopped off. And the Green Knight's like, cool, I appreciate the honor you did here by actually staying here for this. And then the movie ends. And as the Green Knight's about to cut his head off, and I'm sitting there like, what was the point of this again? And I looked into it, and apparently there's a whole there's like a whole nother 30 minutes that's supposed to happen that just doesn't, where the Green Knight's like, actually, I'm pranking you. Your mother sent me to test your honor, and this wasn't like it's just, again, context that is left out, that is not explained to the audience, and that left me personally very confused by the end of it. So overall, I did enjoy it. It is, again, really well shot. The costumes are amazing, specifically the Green Knight. He looks fantastic. But I will admit, they could have used a little bit more context for what was going on.
What you're saying is they could use a little more exposition.
Yes, a little more exposition, and maybe another 10 minutes at the end of it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know how long was it? It was 2 hours, 10 minutes. So
yeah,
that's pretty good.
It doesn't feel like it though, oddly enough. It definitely doesn't feel it. For how thinky it is. You think it would be, but it's not that bad.
Well, I went and saw a movie this past week, and it's probably a movie that most people that are listening went and saw this weekend, because it had a great opening weekend. I went and saw Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and which is Marvel's newest iteration into the cinematic universe. And there are definitely some ties to other movies. So,
as you would expect.
That's, well, with a standalone character that nobody's heard of before, you would have thought that they wouldn't have done. I guess you would have thought they wouldn't have done that, because they haven't really done that before. So like when Guardians of the Galaxy came out in 2014, Guardians of the Galaxy was such a small team that like Marvel fans didn't really know. Like Guardians of the Galaxy didn't really get popular until the movie came out. And then it just gained steam and it became popular, and everyone loves Groot. So with this movie, it was kind of interesting to see a couple of like little tie-ins from different movies. The trailer obviously has the Abomination in it from the Hulk movie.
Okay.
Which was very interesting to see, because Marvel has pretty much written off that movie, even though it's like based in the cinematic universe. It's a different Hulk actor who plays Hulk in that movie. But they brought Abomination back, which was interesting. And I felt at times very slow. And
how so?
So the action sequences are great. The choreography, the action sequences, the fight scenes, all of that, it's all mixed martial arts, everything in the movie. It's based around Shang Chi, who is Marvel's first Asian born lead. character.
Awesome.
So it's all heavily based around martial arts and all of that stuff. So the action and the fight sequences and the choreography are great.
Mm-hmm.
But that time in between where they're establishing Shang-Chi's origin story, you could call it, it's very drawn out and very slow. It's a slow build is what it is. So I felt at times during the action sequences, I was invested. I was into it. I was like, let's go. Yeah. And I wanted to learn about this character's backstory because I don't know anything about Shang-Chi's backstory, similar to Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't know this character existed until they said they were coming out with a movie. And then, so they're doing the backstories and everything. And it's like a flashback kind of movie. So like 20 minutes will go by and then it'll go to a flashback and then they'll go back to the present and they'll go back. And then they kind of do that flip-flop kind of story arc where they're doing flashbacks a lot of the times where Shang-Chi was young and or a teenager even. So they establish, his backstory and everything, but they keep going back to it. They keep going back to past events. And I'm like, there's got to be a faster way to do this. Like,
do you think it would have been better if they'd done a more linear story as opposed to telling it in this very non-linear way? Do you think that would have improved it, or
no? Because there was some things that required just there, like the way that they told the story was good, and the movie was in itself very good. It's just some of the details and some of the things in the movie I was like, you probably could have cut that, like you didn't need to know that, like, or you could have sped that up a little faster. There's like, just sections and where it's just like, all right, let's get to like the present day stuff. Like I want to see him use powers and everything. And you don't really get that until like the very end, because Shang-Chi is not powerful. He gets his power from an artifact, which are the 10 rings. And there's obviously, it's a Marvel movie, there's comedic elements to it. And like I said, there are characters from other Marvel properties that are in it. Some that you expect because you've seen the trailer, some you don't expect, which is kind of nice. And obviously, with it being a Marvel movie, make sure you stay for the mid-credit scene. There is an end credit scene, so if you haven't gone and seen it, you have to stick it out through the whole way. It's not just a
nothing different.
Yeah, well, so some movies have a mid-credit but no end credit. Some movies have just an end credit. This one has both. So you want to stay for the mid-credit and then stick to the end. The end credit sets up the next Shang-Chi, or possibly it doesn't really set up the next Marvel movie per se. The mid-credit scene definitely picks up or sets up the next like Marvel property, or like the next, because now we're in phase 4, I think phase 4 for the MCU. So this was the first movie for this phase. So we're going to see Shang-Chi. The next is Eternals. The next one after that is Spider-Man. So, and then Doctor Strange. So I think all 4 of those movies are going to tie together, and that's kind of interesting, because I wasn't expecting Eternals to kind of connect into these movies. I know that they're going to be a big part of the MCU in phase 4, Eternals are, but I didn't think they were going to connect into any of the movies. I thought that was going to be like a standalone property too, like how like Guardians of the Galaxy was. So like you had Guardians of the Galaxy, but the Guardians of the Galaxy didn't come in until Infinity War, and they were all integrated in together after that, during that. So overall, it was good. Set design was really good. The CGI was very good. Like I said, the cinematic and the choreography and the fights were all very good. Good cast. Some people you recognize, some you don't. Like, I don't know the actor who played Shang-Chi. I've never really seen him before. Simu Liu.
I'm not familiar either, honestly.
He was in the Netflix show Kim's Convenience, which I still have to watch.
Oh, my girlfriend's been watching that. She's been saying it's amazing.
He's in the show Taken, not the movie Taken.
The show. There's a show.
There's a show. Yeah, there's a show that's Taken. And then obviously there are some actors that you're going to recognize, mainly Awkwafina, who is the co-host to Simu Liu or Shang Chi. She's basically the co-star of the movie.
See, I'm actually very curious about her because the only context I have for Awkwafina is the show she did. I believe it was for Netflix, which I thought was very funny. But I do not see her in like the movie actor role, so I'm actually very curious to see how she did.
She's definitely got that Marvel supporting actor role. It's the very heavy comedic Marvel actor role.
It seems good for her though.
So similar to like Ned from in the Spider-Man movies. He's basically like Peter's right-hand man, but he's basically the comedic act of that movie. It's this very similar thing with Awkwafina's character, which is it's perfect for her because she's a comedian and that's what she does. So she's got a good one-line. She's got a lot of good one-liners, and then she does bring like a good step up for the movie. So brings it into that next level.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly again, I knew nothing about this movie as it was coming out. I didn't even see the trailers or anything like that. But from what you've told me and from what I found about like the cast and all this stuff, it seems again amazing. And it's awesome that it's on like it's doing so well at the box office and all that.
Very, very good. And yeah, it was it broke the record for Labor Day weekend, I think. And it also broke the record for a film that was released after the pandemic. So, I mean, definitely go see it just because it doesn't tie into any of the Marvel TV stuff, but it definitely ties into like all the other Marvel properties, which is, something
you gotta keep up.
There's a Marvel movie coming out every single month until February, and then we have a month off. So
I don't know how they keep up with that, man.
Well, they were supposed to come out earlier, but
that's fair actually.
They were supposed to come out like last year, but some of them a lot of them got delayed. So
God, well, honestly, for all the Marvel fans out there, that's I imagine going to be something to look forward to. I'm introducing a new little bit into the Filmmakers Basement because I think the biggest problem with our last run was that we didn't have enough bits. So on that topic, I'm introducing our new segment, Pilot Wings. So concept for Pilot Wings. So Poulin, I found 3 potential show pilots that I think are kind of ridiculous or I think you'll have a bit of trouble like deciphering through them. 2 of them are real. 1 of them is something that I made up entirely. And I'm going to have you try and guess and see which one is the fake one and which one's the real one. I'm testing your ability to see like how well you know TV
seen
pilots.
Quite a few episodes of TV, so I don't know like if you're taking them from major. I don't know if you're taking them from like minor shows or major shows, but we'll see if I can pull them out.
Figure these out. So the first show. A gender non-conforming recent high school graduate lands the gig of a lifetime interning at a cosmetics company whose products he panned on YouTube. So that's number 1. Let that sink in. Years after a friend's disappearance at a high school party causes the friend group to fall apart, a mysterious, malevolent force emerges. Its goal, to expose the truth about that night and the real lives each of them led. And number 3. A character-driven genre thriller that centers around a sheriff who takes a young child that she finds near the site of a mysterious accident who has no memory of what has happened. The investigation draws her into a conspiracy larger than she has ever imagined, and the child's identity is at the center of it. So, out of these 3, which is the one you think I made up?
Well, I have to ask, because am I allowed to ask questions about any of them?
Sure, well, let's make it fun. Ask some questions. We'll see how it is.
So, the ones that are real, they are shows that are out, that have been out already. So they have already had their pilot episode.
I believe so.
Okay.
I say I believe because I made this a year ago and I forgot.
Oh, crap. Oh, okay. So yeah.
So these would be pilots from 2020, 2019. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
So they'd be a little bit older.
I was thinking because like if they're older pilots, you could be taking shows from like the 90s or you could be taking shows from early 2000s or something. But if you're taking shows from
recent.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. So
now keep in mind, while they may be released recent, they might not have been successful. So they might have only gotten 1 season. So you might not have necessarily heard of it.
And that's what I'm thinking. So like I'm thinking the second one about the disappearance of a high school party, a friend's disappearance of a high school party, sounds a lot like some sort of like ABC family show, if you know what I mean.
I gotcha.
So it doesn't sound like it's going to be like a major network show, because I don't know of any major network shows that focuses around high schoolers.
Yeah.
Except for actually no. Because you got CW, I guess.
I was just about to say the CW
a major
is a
show,
example.
But CW they do Riverdale, Riverview.
Yeah.
Riverview is where I live. Riverdale, whatever. The Archie comics show. So it sounds a lot like an AMC family type of show that would center around like Pretty Little Liars, like something like that.
Yeah.
The third one, a character-driven genre thriller that centers around a sheriff who takes a young child in. That could be like a major network show. That does sound a lot like a major network show. And then the first one, a gender non-conforming recent high school graduate. Again, I don't see that being like a major network show production. Yeah. I see that being like maybe a Netflix show or like an Amazon Prime show. If it could be, like one of them is fake.
True.
So
one of them's not real.
So with that being said, that's the other thing I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Are the shows that are real, are they season based? And what I mean by that is they're not anthology type shows like necessarily like CSI or NCIS or like a Criminal Minds where it's like a different story every episode. Are they more like story driven throughout the entire season?
So I believe they're season based. So more like traditional television.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to go with the first one's fake.
The first one's fake.
Yeah.
Okay. You locking that in?
Yeah.
Okay. The fake one was number 2.
Okay.
That was the log line for the film I wrote my sophomore year.
That was my second guess.
That's fair, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a little bit suspicious.
The third one, I was like,
that one I believe is getting a second season.
That sounds, I don't know if it sounds a lot like, but it's like what's that? The girl with the girl who has the tattoos all over her body. Yeah, it's an older show.
Okay. Well, after the thrilling game that was, let's kind of wrap this up a little bit, go into some movies that are coming out soon. First up, we got Malignant. So this stars Madison, who's paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams are in fact reality. So kind of this cool movie about someone having dreams about the real thing happening.
James Wan directed that.
Ooh, okay, that's interesting.
A horror thriller from James Wan. So who did The Conjuring?
Yeah,
he did the original Saw.
I've heard good things about the Conjuring movies, honestly. Everyone seems to really like them, so I trust him to pump out something, if not interesting, at least weird.
Yep. Insidious. He did Insidious too. Yep.
And then next up we have The Card Counter. So tagline for this one is "The redemption is the long game," and Paul Schrader's The Card Counter. Told with Schrader's trademark cinematic intensity, the revenge thriller tells the story of an ex-military interrogator turned gambler haunted by the ghosts of his past. And you had mentioned that this seemed interesting to you.
Yeah, I like. I mean, I like to gamble sometimes, so I like I like 21. 21's a good movie. Maybe not the best cast nowadays, since that had what's his name? Kevin Spacey in it. But
it happens.
But it's got Oscar Isaac in it. So Oscar Isaac, who was part of the new Star Wars trilogy that just came out, he's done a couple other things recently. But I'm interested to see what it's about, and I'll probably go see it just because it'll be something for us to talk about. And then
could be next.
It's a thriller. So yeah, it's a thriller. I'm not big on horror movies, so I don't know if I'll go see The Malignant, but
Malignant might be more up my alley. I do enjoy a good horror movie.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Though I'm terrified by them. It's a horrible cycle where I enjoy the movie, but I'm terrified the entire time.
Oh, yeah, it's a thrill ride.
Yeah, I'm a junkie. What can I say?
You'll have to watch the trailer and see if it's something you'd be. I mean, it's from the mind of James Wan, so like you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I'll definitely have a good time regardless. And finally, a movie I don't particularly care for by the sound of it, Queen Pins, which is about a pair of housewives who create a $40 million coupon scam, which just sounds kind of boring to me personally, but
I mean, it's got Kirsten Bell. I like Kirsten Bell.
Yeah, she's good.
It's got Joel McHale. It's got literally nobody else.
Yeah.
Phoebe Rex is in it, who's a pop star.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna go watch it again. So I mean, in theaters this week, coming soon. What did we say it was? Oh, The Green Knight. For the movies that we talked about earlier.
Did come out recently, so yeah, it's still
Green
in
Knight,
theaters.
88% Rotten Tomato fresh.
It's good.
It's good.
Pretty all right.
Yeah. Let's see. There was.
I imagine Shang-Chi is pretty
off the charts.
Is
up there, I think.
Yeah.
It is not on this list for some reason, and I do not know why. Oh, that's because it's opening this week. I was on the wrong spot. That's why. Shang-Chi 93.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'd imagine, yeah, that sounds about right.
Two good movies that we went and saw this week.
Two good movies.
And then opening this week, we don't have Rotten Tomato scores yet for any of the. Oh no, we do. Card Counter's got a 97.
Hey, there you go. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that might be good. Malignant doesn't have one yet.
Yeah.
But go see Card Counters. It's so far got 33 reviews and it's 97%. That's kind of, and it's only an hour and 50 minutes. So that's not that long.
It's kind of short. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
well, you heard it here first, folks. You got our official recommendations. Watch Shang-Chi, be confused by The Green Knight, and then check out The Card Counter.
Yep. Right after. If you feel like getting freaked out, then go see Malignant.
And just you can do whatever with Queen Pins. Ignore it, watch it, whatever you want.
If you like a movie like Bridesmaids or something, you might like it. So I would say for those people that like that movie, go watch Queen Pins.
Watch it, go watch it and let us know how it was. So yeah, thanks again for watching the Filmmakers Basement. Thanks for stopping by. I've been Brandon Gasparino.
Andrew Poulin. I've been Andrew. Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure talking to y'all. See y'all next time.